Hey guys, for Halloween this year, I thought I would take a page out of one of my favorite bloggers' books and do an entire horror movie marathon. The horror blogger is called Final Girl. That's Stacy Ponder, and a couple years in a row, she just decided to watch the entire series of a horror movie and then blog about it, see how long her sanity held up. So this year, I thought we would start. We have Nightmares 1 through 8 on DVD, the Nightmare reboot on Blu-ray. 9 movies. According to the runtimes, it's going to take us approximately 14 and a half hours. Here we go. It's almost 9 a.m., gotta get my coffee, and it's time to watch a whole bunch of horror movies. This is my buddy Phil, guys. He's one of the only other people I know who enjoys horror movies as much as me. So he is going to go for broke. He's going to go for all 9 with me, so he claims.
I'll do it.
First one, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Come down to the cellar with me and I'll tell you.
Don't do that.
There are like 17 red flags in that sentence.
Is there anything scarier than children?
Nope. That was 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street. What'd you think, Phil?
Just how I remembered it.
Yep. Synopsis. Group of kids in a nice, normal American town start having nightmares about this guy with knife fingers.
Boom, right here.
He starts killing them in their dreams. And then Heather Langenkamp plays Nancy. She's the main character. She has to stand up to him. I did not realize that at the end of... Oh, so this is going to be spoilers filled, by the way, for the Nightmare series.
Yeah.
I forgot completely that that Nancy, Home Alones her house at the end of this movie.
It's the best part.
Yeah. To, battle Freddy. And though it has a really, really cheesy beginning, and I was like, none of this is scary. By the end, it was I was really involved in it.
I think what it is just, this one has so much more build-up and less kills.
It's just, really awesome practical visual effects. He does this thing where he comes through the wall a little bit, and then the whole blood room and girls flying up in the ceiling. That's cool. All the cool stuff at the end is just, it's a great payoff for the flick. That's what I think of Nightmare 1.
I'll say I hate the ending.
You hate the ending?
I get it, they have to set it up for the sequel, which makes sense.
Oh, you mean the very, very end.
The very, very end.
Yeah.
But
no.
it's the kids just drive away in the Freddy car. So is she still dreaming, or is it, it all starts again?
Wes Craven hated the ending too. But Bob Shea, the guy from New Line, who was the only person who was like, yeah, this is going to be a movie, because he shopped it all over town.
Yeah.
And Bob Shea was like, we
Set
need to have a
this
twist at the end. There's got to be a twist. So I guess
the mom's
convertible
really
is Freddy
killed.
with the thing coming up.
But then Freddy's in the house and kills the mom.
Yeah, makes no sense. It was all just tacked on there.
Yeah.
Pretty much the next fall, they released Nightmare 2, which we're going to watch now. Apparently, the watching of Nightmare 2, Freddy's Revenge did not record us. Outstanding. I'm going to try stopping and starting the program in between movies now. Hopefully things will continue to import this time. Redoing the review. Nightmare 2, Freddy's Revenge. Rough going.
Terrible.
It was not good. It didn't quite feel like a Nightmare movie for the first half.
3/4. I'd go 3/4.
3/4. Cool thing about Nightmare 1 is that it births this awesome mythology. The Freddy Krueger mythology. Dude gets into your dreams, can kill you in your dreams. You can't stop him. You gotta dream. You gotta sleep. He's Freddy Krueger. Murdered children. The parents in town were like, that's not cool. Killed him. Alright, he comes back for the kids in the dreams to take the revenge on the parents for killing him. Logic.
Yeah,
Good times.
the science is there.
And it's an awesome, awesome horror villain mythology. Freddy 2 decides, okay, let's forget that. Okay, let's have him possess our main character. First of all, you don't have a boy main character in a horror movie.
You can't. That goes against horror movie rule 101.
Exactly. Part of what the screenwriter thought this time, he thought he would take the Freddy Krueger character and use him as kind of a very subtle subtext kind of metaphor for a boy questioning his sexuality. And it all just was right on the surface there. It was a first-time director, and
A lot of shirtless dude scenes.
he would not button his shirt, and then there was a very awkward dance scene that kind of went awry. The art department picked up on all of this and put a board game called Probe on his shelf in his room.
In terms of, the kills, too, not very imaginative.
Because it wasn't in the dream world.
Yeah. So it's just Freddy essentially taking his glove and using them as normal knives.
Yeah.
Just cutting people across the face. And
I guess the
cutting
jump
through.
ropes did the coach up to the shower
Yeah,
and disrobe him and start whipping him with towels on the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you that one. There's no Johnny Depp pulled into the bed. There's no girl on the ceiling being cut to pieces.
Although the transformation scene in Freddy's Revenge 2 was awesome. Like, the knives coming out of the fingers and Freddy popping out of the kid's chest.
Yeah, that was good.
Very cool. The fact that none of it is computer effects is also really, really awesome. Really cool effects. I almost forgot to mention bird rabies. There's a scene where for some reason a bird flies out of the cage, bursts into flames, and Dad goes, probably bird rabies.
It's the only logical explanation for when your bird kills itself by combustion.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Here we go.
So we get some answers.
I can't allow that.
What?
I'll always love you.
Dream Warriors. Awesome. Like an actual movie.
Yeah.
It was directed by Chuck Russell, who went on to do like The Mask and a series of other real movies, and co-written.
I don't know if the mask is real, but
You loved The Mask when you were a kid, right?
Right.
Co-written by Frank Darabont, who went on to do Shawshank. Music by Angelo Badalamenti, probably said the last name wrong, of Twin Peaks and David Lynch fame. What did you guys think?
Ooh, was good.
Huh?
yeah, just the difference between like us making jokes through the first and second one to sitting quietly and watching the entire movie.
Actually, this is where it becomes like the Freddy Krueger that like I remember from being a kid. He uses your fears against you in your dreams.
Yeah.
Because that didn't even happen in 1. He was just like, oh, you're asleep? I'm going to cut you open and throw you up a wall. In 3, he's like, oh, you're in a wheelchair? Here's a huge, monstrous, awful wheelchair. Oh, you had a history with a drug problem? Here, now your track marks are going to be like sucking mouths and I'm going to inject you with my needle fingers. Like, awesome, scary stuff.
Yeah. Kills much, much better. Freddy becomes more of a character himself.
Absolutely.
Starts cracking jokes.
Yeah, this is where it starts, when he starts really incorporating people's fears and getting real wisecracky. Although it hasn't gone overboard yet. Also, making appearances, Patricia Arquette as the main character.
Larry Fish.
Larry Fishburne. Although Nancy bit it.
Oh.
Let's have a quiet moment for Nance. Moving on. Nightmare 4, directed by Rennie Harlan, who went on to do like Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and Long Kiss Goodnight.
I Had 2 is your least favorite.
Yes, it is.
In every Nightmare movie, the parents never get it.
No. Oh, she gave her power to Alice?
Yeah.
That's not, that's a little questionable.
Yep. Song choices are terrible.
How do we talk about Nightmare 4, The Dream Master?
I think this is worse than 2. I've never seen 2 or 4 coming into this, so these were both new experiences, but the fact that they couldn't bring back some of the cast.
They couldn't get Patricia Arquette back, but they kept the character. And okay, so like
so
look,
much bad about it.
Nightmare 3, like she had the power, this character had the power to pull people into her dreams, and they could battle Freddy together.
Yeah.
It was a cool little device, and it worked really. I believed it in 3.
3 was good.
Absolutely. In 4, it's ridiculous. She pulls people in, but then they're not even like in dreams that are their horrors hardly at all.
Yeah, the mythology gets screwed up again because
Yeah,
now Freddy's not fighting on the same grounds that he was in 3.
Yeah, no. Now they're just kind of like whatever Rennie Harlan and the New Line folks thought would be like cool things.
The deaths went more now for like shock horror.
Sure.
The lady's arms breaking.
Which was a great effect. Okay, so then when the Dream Warrior girl dies, she's like, oh, have my power! Because she was like the last of the Elm Street children.
Yeah.
And so she pulls one of her non-Elm Street friends in. Freddy apparently was only going after the kids that were born from the people who murdered him from Elm Street.
Yeah.
But now that all of those kids are dead, he killed them all finally. Somebody else is pulled in who wasn't an Elm Street kid. She's like, here's my dream power. And what Freddy basically does then is like, bring me other kids.
Yeah, so essentially if that lady doesn't sacrifice her dream power, Freddy's done. 3 kids die, it's a tragedy, the school moves on.
The school moves on immediately. They don't even pull a half day for all the deaths that happen.
But because she gave it away, then 3 more kids had to die.
I liked the whole like release of souls effect. People are reaching out from Freddy's body. I thought that was crazy awesome.
Freddy's death and destruction is good, but it doesn't outweigh Freddy's birth in this movie. He's brought back to life because they dream about the gravesite and a possessed dog urinates fire on his body, which for some reason causes him to be reborn.
Yeah, it was not a good one.
2, I can respect that they tried something new. 4, I feel like they tried to capitalize on the success of 3 and they ruined it completely.
Yeah, you didn't care about any of the characters because all of the kids' dialogue was ridiculous and it didn't make like any
Worst
logical
acting
sense.
of all of them.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 5,
Your sink's leaking.
The Dream Child.
Ann and Alice just made themselves a dream baby.
Good. The more, like, creative the kills get, the less Freddy is on screen. This is really bad.
That was like a 20-pound baby that she just absorbed into her stomach. You can start this one.
Okay. I think pretty much everybody kind of stopped caring. It doesn't feel like anybody, like... Okay, let's get a bunch of death scenes together here. Dream Child, what does that need? Let's get a demon fetus popping out of a nun. She says, no, not again, in the dream. So she's not giving birth to Freddy Krueger. She's giving birth to monster Freddy Krueger. So it's like a rebirthing from the fact that this girl is pregnant with the baby of her boyfriend from the last movie.
The baby's dreaming. Apparently he's dreaming of Freddy Krueger.
And then Freddy can get her friends again.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I still gotta say it's better than 4. Even though both movies, they didn't care anymore. They stopped caring in 4 and 5.
Clearly.
We could both agree on that. They had to change it up. I guess the baby's a good twist. It's entirely stupid that she dreams an alien birth and then Freddy grows from that because he climbed into a sweater again. Like, that's ridiculous.
We forgot to mention, when we were talking about how good 3 was, that it was the first time the words in the Freddy mythology, the bastard son of 100 maniacs, was uttered. Which is just a great horror movie, like Freddy Krueger, the bastard son of 100 maniacs. They kind of revisited that at the beginning, and I guess his mother reabsorbed him at the end. I don't know.
No one cares about these characters.
No.
I guess because they're facing off with Freddy, we should feel some kind of sympathy for them, but I just don't.
Yeah. The plus of 5, the comic book death was great. It cuts him up into paper, and then his color drains out. I thought that was awesome.
That was cool. The color draining out was really,
yeah,
really
as
cool.
opposed to blood.
It's the only good thing about that character. Number 6, Freddy's dead. The final nightmare. Clearly, it's a misnomer because we have 3 movies to go after that. Moving on to 6 here.
I'm already more involved with these kids than I have been in the last 2 movies.
Oh,
They got one
100%.
of your stuff.
How do you feel, Phil?
As a fan of video games, I feel disgusted.
Those were the dream people? The people who made the movie said that they actually, they thought it was the final nightmare. To me, it felt like 2 different movies. There are 2 types of horror movies. Ones that try to take their horror seriously, and another where just the conventions are used. Blood, guts, jump scares. But it's more about comedy, and everybody's just supposed to watch the movie having a good time with blood and guts, right?
Yeah.
The first half was that. Freddy had all the worst lines. They made him the Wicked Witch of the West at one point. But much more enjoyable than 4 and 5 was, just because they were just going for like a good time. And then the second half, they like all of a sudden started to take it seriously, and then you go into Freddy's memory and everything, so it felt more like the other type of horror movie. Okay, so this time, like, they jumped 10 years.
Yeah.
Springwood, which is the town that Freddy's been working in for forever. All of the kids are dead in Springwood, except one. And then all the adults have gone crazy, and this one kid gets out. Then he gets to some institution where there are abused kids. This woman doctor is like, all right, I'm going to help you find out who you were. You had this Springwood article on you. Let's go back to Springwood and find out. And then this bunch of
Misfits.
One of whom is Breckin Meyer.
Yes.
From Road Trip fame. They all go back to Springwood, and then they find out that Freddy had a daughter before he was caught by the people to burn him or whatever. So he kills all the burnouts. We find out that the doctor is his daughter, which means...
Crazy twist.
Right. Which means he
coming.
can hitchhike in her head out of Springwood. I don't know why Springwood was keeping him captive either.
Yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't matter. So then he's out, and he goes to the home for misfit toys. and tries to start like butchering all of them.
He does not succeed. He does not kill a single person once he gets back.
Yeah, once he's out of Springwood, he just takes beating after beating.
Yeah, the girl boxer kicks his ass. The dream doctor beats him with a baseball bat.
Yep.
And then he can't even handle his own frumpy daughter.
Her clothes were a little frumpy.
Her
She
clothes-
herself was
yeah.
not that frumpy.
But she just hugs him and then brings him into the real world.
And if that's not enough, we also find out that Freddy can do what he does because of the Dreamins. I've decided to call them the Dreamins. He calls them the Dream People. They essentially look like little floating heads with little tails behind, and they go ha 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 and float around in 3D, if you had seen this movie in the theater, and knew when to put your 3D glasses on. And then at the end, when Freddy blows up, his head like double blows up for some reason.
Well, it's to really get the effect.
Oh, okay. Dreamins, get out, and they're like, ha ha ha, we escape! And Freddy's dead, apparently.
Yeah.
The thing is, you got to go see some of Freddy's history, too. Apparently, his whole elementary school knew that he was the bastard son of 100 maniacs, bastard son of 100 maniacs. And can you imagine going through that?
Yes.
Okay, we thought they put this thing to bed for a while. That was 1991.
So it's been 3 years.
New Nightmare comes out in 94.
I was wrong, Internet.
Shall we? New Nightmare. Let's enter the metaverse.
Kid loves TV. We're not very professional here, man.
we just opened this branch of the morgue a couple days ago.
I don't actually even work here. I apologize.
This is my first internship.
Yeah. I'm not even a doctor.
I didn't want to be a part of this. I wanted to dance. No, Phil, no!
Damn it! Damn it, nurses!
Freddy was the first of the big three. Freddy, Michael, Jason. Freddy was the first of the ones that I knew about as a kid. I never got to watch any of them when I was a kid, and it didn't stop me from like going and looking at all the boxes in the horror section after a while. But the one that I knew about was Freddy, because he was the guy who came and got you in your dreams, and that's such like a cool concept. And then New Nightmare is awesome. I love movies where like you're inside the movie. Okay, so New Nightmare, Heather Langenkamp playing herself, starts having nightmares about Freddy coming back after he's dead 10 years after. It was made in 94. The first one was made in 84. And so, like, all these earthquakes start happening, and her husband is, like, working on this secret glove and everything, and she gets asked to do another movie. Wes Craven is writing this, the new Nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's coming real as he's writing it. A lot of it has to do with her son Dylan, played by the awesomest kid.
The kid can sell you the fact that he is not only terrifying, but he is being terrified.
Yeah, he's like the best horror kid ever. He was the kid in Pet Sematary. If you're making a horror movie in the early 90s, you wanted this kid. And then he went on to the great comedic genius of telling Arnold Schwarzenegger, boys have penis, girls have a vagina.
Yeah, I believe
Kindergarten
Kindergarten
Cop
Cop is his best movie still to this day. It's been a while since I've seen New Nightmare. I forgot how little Freddy is actually in this.
Yeah, but Robert Englund gets to show his real face about as much as he does in Nightmare 6. Good times. That's the end of the real Nightmare movies. Now comes...
The jokes.
They're the only two I've actually seen in the theater. Freddy vs. Jason time.
Come on, you try to.
Of course. But I wouldn't try a feng shui line.
And they made the mistake of killing his mother.
Well, because she was killing everyone.
Yeah.
Chris was so upset. Chris was so
Don't
upset.
act like it's the counselor's fault for killing the mother.
Pretty much what I do after everyone.
Everyone is just a chop, fight, dance.
Yeah.
Chris came in right at the beginning, but he sat off screen the whole time. What do we think?
I just, I don't think it was very realistic.
I don't think that could happen in the real world.
Other than that, it was great.
I would say that the whole thing played like it was always going to, but it was straight up fan fiction. The first half of Freddy's Dead felt like Freddy fan fiction as well. So this is our second bout with fan fiction in the series tonight. It accomplishes the fan fiction mission, which was
To make a lot of money.
it made a lot of money. It was fun. I saw it in the theater and I thought, yeah, that's what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I like how Freddy dominated in the dream world and Jason kind of had a one-up in the real world.
It's not great, but at the same time, you get what you pay for.
It is. If you read the title, you knew what you were getting, and the way they ended up pairing them up, I think that works. Freddy needed someone to go around making a body count, so he picks Jason. I mean, prior to that, he hadn't known of Jason. At the end of that one Friday movie, the glove comes up from hell and pulls the mask down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been in talks ever since then, mid-90s.
Right.
And Monica Keena, excellent shirt work the whole time.
Yeah.
Great shirt acting. Did you guys talk about who you thought was scarier, Freddy or Jason?
Jason. I'm gonna go Jason hands down just because Freddy is a wisecracker that you can kind of get the best of as long as you think about it. Jason, there's no getting the best of it. Just like, you can't beat him down, you can't shoot him, you can't...
No.
Apparently you can't even run away from him even though he lumbers.
Right. Freddy, again, like if you hold on to him while someone wakes you up, you can beat him up with a baseball bat for hours.
Yeah,
That's
it's fun. It's just a fun party game.
Yeah,
Me
to
to
get away
tears.
from Jason, you just get farther away from him. You can't really avoid Freddy. Like, you have to sleep,
No, it's true.
and wherever you go and you sleep, at some point you're going to have to interact with him.
It's
Where
true.
Jason, you just have to not be around him and you'll be fine.
Now
Well,
that's all left is Nightmare Remake. We've seen the last of Robert Englund.
Moment of silence.
Little moment of silence for Robert's participation. Didn't feel like a true moment.
No, we should have T-bowed it.
Yeah.
I expected to feel much more dazed after 8 in a row movies. I feel good.
You late to class?
See you, buddy. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Gotcha.
Scared me. It's weird that they got uploaded.
Freddy Krueger.
Blogs.
What's this password? What's this password? It's the guy was in his dream. Let's see.
Let's try preschool.
Nope.
Is it Freddy? Please,
I always wanted to be Freddy. It never is.
There it is. The Night Marathon.
15 and a half hours?
Phil made it the whole day.
You
Like
didn't.
he said he would.
You didn't think I could.
It's actually easier than I thought. The remake. Same kind of basic plot as the first one. Group of teens stalked and killed by killer in their dreams.
First one, he was just a child murderer. Now he was a child rapist.
Absolutely. It was good. I feel a certain allegiance to the original Nightmare over this. However, I feel like this is a very different beast. The effects were very cool, and I like Rooney Mara. I like Beaver from Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
That supermarket sequence where she was flashing between the supermarket and the boiler room
Yeah.
was just outstanding.
Right.
And
Any
Katie
transition
Cass for
between-
Chris.
Yeah, and that was a great scene where she's in the school and like there's like a little shockwave of
Ash
that
that just
goes out and changes the scene. Yeah, the transitions from real life to dream and back were really cool.
One thing we talked about was that for kids who see this first, this will be their nightmare and they won't like the original. And that kind of
it's completely
horrifies
different.
me.
Yeah, and like you guys know this because you guys watch it with me, but I just don't think this could happen. Like it just wasn't realistic again.
Well, you take a certain...
Besides the nostalgia of the first movies, my main problem with the remake is just I feel like they changed the Freddy character. Like I get, like obviously England made it his own. They forced him. I didn't feel like his jokes were.
Well, I don't think
in
he's
the
like
character.
making jokes either.
It just felt like it was such a stray from the character.
However, the Katie Cassidy on the ceiling, thrown around, slashed into bed was way hardcore awesome in this. Nightmare series as a whole, how did it stack up?
I still say 4 is by far the worst.
Rank the best.
Best? I'm gonna go for the first one. Third one's amazing.
I'm going
That's-
3.
3
3 is my top.
definitely top 2.
Right.
If it's not your best because it's not the original, then it's number 2.
Right,
for
it's
sure.
easy to rank the original as the best just because it's the original.
Were you saying I'm copying out?
No.
Smart
I
play.
think,
Yeah, making up the mythology, creating an entire new
The
monster.
reason, and I think I said this in one of the reason the first one's just so good is because there's so much to take in. He only kills 3 kids in the entire movie. There's so much build-up, there's so much suspense, as opposed to just it becoming a slasher, and opposed to like characters who are just in there to think of ways to kill them.
Right.
Dream Master
Master
4.
is 4, yeah.
That's where she gains the
Yeah.
powers
Power
of dead people.
yeah.
Okay, you're right. 4 is the worst.
Thank you.
3 is my favorite.
3 I like a lot, but it's hard to like the first one's good because it's the first one, and it's
Yeah.
all about learning the new character and finding out what it is. Like that's the thing. There's only so many times where you sit through all the characters, figuring out who he is and then how to kill him. Like it's the same thing every single movie. So that's only interesting the first time you see it, I think.
Out of the whole series, best kill.
Probably my favorite, Tendon's puppet.
I was actually
10 minutes
gonna,
up at a 3
Yeah.
is just kills me every time.
tough to watch. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
The 10's a good one. Obviously, everyone knows the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah.
So if I was to pick one that's not those two, it's a stupid one, and it's from a terrible movie. But when he turns the workout lady into a bug,
Yeah.
and then crushes it in the Rose Motel, and so much goop comes out, it was entertaining. It was a terrible movie, and don't see it for that.
When he comes out of the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Welcome to Primetime, bitch.
Yeah.
Also 3.
Night Marathon, Nightmare on Elm Street. Thank you very much.
Video that Jake's gonna cut.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, there's